right? To filter between what's good science, what's bad science. So we want to make sure that we give you guys the good science. We give you the information so that you feel confident that you can go out there and say to somebody who comes to you with the latest trend or fad, hold on, that's not the real science, okay? And that's something, I think it's difficult to understand. We all get caught up in this, I want to follow the latest and greatest and whatnot. And kind of one of my favorite things to do when I was teaching after I finished my PhD was have all my students kind of bring an article into class that they found in the media and something that they thought was really cool and that they would follow, right? That they wanted to try. And what we would do was we would trace that article in popular media back to the science, if we could find it. And oftentimes, we couldn't find it. Or we found some sort of convoluted results that led to this article that tells you eating 12 pounds of chocolate a day is good for you. Okay? So, it's difficult. But for you guys, what's good to know is we do all those steps. We look at all the latest and greatest and all the trends out there, and we take a step back and say, nope, that's crazy. We're not going to look at that. Or, okay, there may be some merit to that. Let's see, let's follow through on that. So we do that whole back end for you so that you don't have to worry about whether or not what's in these products is based on a fad or based on really well-established science. So I think, like Russell said earlier, we're not going to come up with a million new products, right, and follow every trend because there's no point having them fall off or are based on faulty science. So we're going to stick to what we know works while always looking for that latest and greatest and following the science and following the trends. But then we also want you guys to know how to use the product and how to be comfortable and confident using it and talking about it and being able to personalize it. Okay? So I'm going to give you a couple examples based on some of the CR7 education, which I know some of you guys have already seen, but hopefully now that you've tried the product and you've worked with it, maybe you can kind of look at it in a slightly different context. But this is kind of going to be our approach going forward with a lot of the Life 24 products is we're going to base the science and the education on the questions that we know you guys are going to get. Okay? So for example, with CR7 Drive, a big question you're going to get is sugar. Okay, why is there so much sugar? Why would I take this? Is it going to make me fat? I heard sugary drinks are bad for you. Okay? So we want to make sure that when someone comes at you and says that you're armed with the knowledge to be able to say, you're right, there are carbohydrates in it, there are sugars in it, but let me tell you why. Okay? The reason is that your body relies on carbohydrates when you're exercising, but what we have in this product is we have 4 different types of carbohydrates. We have 2 that are going to act very quickly to give you a good burst of energy, and then we have 2 that are going to give you a sustained release. So the formula is really designed for that person that's exercising, for that athlete that's out there, that's getting their heart rate up, that's sweating. And it's designed, there's a purpose and there's a reason behind every single one of the ingredients that are in the product. So we're going to work on how we translate that information to you guys. A lot of it's going to be done through social media and make sure we have clear channels so that we can get some of these product facts and science out to you guys. And then understanding how do I use it, right? We've got a lot of products out there. We want it to be clear. We want to be clear how these fit together. Okay, so not just saying we're going to isolate to one product, but we really want to do a lot in how do we use these products together. What does a whole day look like, which would be a slide I show you in a minute, right? So something like this may be something that you would see on a social media with a little bit of a description, right? So what's the difference? When would I use Hydrate? When would I use CR7 Drive? For me, the answer is when you're up and sweating. When your heart rate's up, that's when you switch to CR7 Drive, okay? And so those are the take-home messages that we want you guys to be able to be confident to say. We know there's a lot of science behind the product, And so I can confidently tell you, when your heart rate goes up, when you start sweating, your body's going to make use of all of those carbohydrates that are going to be in there. Okay? You don't have to understand the full mechanism. You just have to know that that science exists with the product and be able to talk to why it works and when to use it and how to use it. But almost more importantly is how to make it specific. Okay? How do you really tailor what you're talking about to the person you're talking to? Okay? So we have these great products, and then they can also be tailored, right? So say you've got Series 7 Drive, 100 calories per serving. You've got someone that's only, going for a 30-minute walk. That's awesome. If that's what you want to do for the day, you're getting your heart rate up, you're getting your 30 minutes of exercise, but you probably don't need 100 calories from the Series 7 Drive, right? So maybe take half a serving, okay? But on the other side of that, you've got someone that's going for a long ride, or they're going for a really intense CrossFit session or soccer match. One serving 100 calories, that's not going to cut it for them, right? So in that case, you can use more. And that's the great thing about a lot of our products is you can really tailor them to what your needs are. So talking to the American football players, we talk to them very differently than when I was in Costa Rica and we were working with the Olympic boxing team, who was very weight controlled, had to be very specific, a lot of them had to drop weight. Okay? So that's what's really good about these products, and you're going to see, right now I'm working on a very specific usage guide for Series 7 Drive, so that it's very clear for you guys how to use it. Okay, so when people come to you and say there's a lot of calories, or there's a lot of sugar, or I don't want more calories in my day, you can say, look, you're doing this type of exercise, you're burning about this many calories, this is why this product is going to be beneficial for you. So you kind of look for that type of information. But then we also want to make sure that we're talking about how these two lines kind of work together. I think this is something that you're also going to see a lot of coming is, how do we use, we hear a lot, well, I only use the regular line, I don't know if I'm ready for the 24 line, or vice versa, I only use the 24 line, so I don't know how to use the regular line. But we have a long way to go, and this is something, again, that I'm going to be working on a lot this year, is how do we merge these two lines? How do they work together, right? So this is just one example of kind of what a day could look like if you have someone that's exercising. So starting your day up, maybe you're not a get up really, really early, eat an hour or two before you work out, Series 7 Drive, right? Have a serving or two in the morning, depending on what it is that you're going to do. Recover with rebuild strength. If you want to use that as your one of these times that's not going to surprise me. You can use rebuild strength as your breakfast, okay? But really building it up, so adding some fruits or milk or things like that. And that's also something that you'll see as well as some of these recipes that we're using with the football players, some of our other athletes, how do they actually use it? And then you can take that to your customers and say, this is what's really being done, this is what's being done by a lot of our athletes out there. But then incorporating it with the tea and the vitamins and the aloe, as well as bars for snacks and things like that. The products really can work together. And just because you have a 24 line in the morning for breakfast doesn't mean you can't have an F1 shake for a snack later in the day. Okay? We really work together, combined with good quality, wholesome meals throughout the day. So typically we talk to our athletes about having carbohydrates in the morning and then increasing the protein throughout the day. So that's kind of the product education that you're going to see is really the basics of the science behind it, but hopefully being able to give you guys the confidence to go out and say, yeah, I hear you, I know your concerns about this, but this is why we have these ingredients in the product, this is why you can be confident in them. And a lot of that comes from basic nutrition education, so you're going to be seeing a focus on that as well from our end. I know you get a lot of this already, but really having these sort of reference points, right? So what does 18 grams of carbohydrates mean? You can tell that to someone, they're like, okay, what does that look like? It looks kind of like a medium-sized banana, honestly, okay? So lots less than what you'd see in an average soda, and then there's a purpose to it. So we really want to integrate this sort of education of general nutrition with what we see in our actual products. But more specifically going forward, you're going to hear a lot more about sports nutrition. Okay, I know we have such a growing segment in our company of people that are really healthy, active lifestyle. Really want to get out and not just lose weight, but build muscle. Okay, so we're talking about how to use carbohydrates, when to use them, when to use proteins, fats, things like that, and incorporating a lot of what we do with the American football players. So that's one of the guys that we worked with last year. Okay, you can see between the two of us, we have very different needs in terms of calories, right? I eat about in a week what he eats in a day. So it really depends. And so we're going to talk about and hopefully use some of what we do with the athletes and get that information out to you guys so that you can use it with your organizations and to say, look, this is how we use sports nutrition with our athletes. We calculate, so each one of these football players, we calculate their daily caloric needs. We calculate how many grams of protein, how many grams of fat, how many grams of carbohydrates they need on a daily basis. And then we work with one of the gyms, we work with a chef to kind of make that happen, incorporating our products and incorporating whole foods as well. And those are hopefully some of the things that you'll see as well. So, for example, one of our chefs, she makes these amazing muffins with rebuilt strength. So, she will be sending me the recipe for that. So things like that you'll be able to see and say, look, this is how these products are really being used by some of our elite high-level athletes. And then lastly, we're kind of out of time, but looking towards the future as well, and knowing that while we're focused on education, while we're focused on our athletes, and focused on really making sure that you feel confident in the information that you have, behind the scenes we're always looking for what's next, and we're always listening to what you guys need. And one of the best ways that we get our information is connecting through social media. Okay? We look at the pictures, we see what's, hashtag Herbalife24, hashtag Herbalife, whatever's tagged is Herbalife24, and we say, hey, look what these guys are doing out there. Look the type of workouts they're doing. Look the types of exercises. Let's make sure that we're developing products that are in line with what you guys are doing. Okay? So make sure if you're out at the gym, you're out doing the workout, whatever it may be, and you're posting pictures, tag us, connect with us, so that we can really have sort of this communication. We put information out for you, education material, but we want to know what it is that you need. Okay? So really connect with us through that social media mechanism so that we understand what's going out there. But just, so you guys know things that we're looking at for in the future, we're always looking at new protein sources. We're looking at protein products with less carbohydrates. And then always for the 24 line is keeping this vision of clean labels, so less ingredients, staying away from things that are artificial, and then always having that informed choice, banned substance testing. It goes a long way with our athletes. I think it goes a long way to ensure our confidence and your confidence in the products. Okay? Not a lot of companies are willing to do that. Right? Not a lot of companies are willing to take the risk to say, I'm going to send this off to a third party, let them test it, let them talk about it, let them put a seal on our product, but we do that. Okay? And that should give you confidence in what we put in our products and knowing fully that 100% of what you see on the label is actually in the product. And unfortunately, we can't say that about a lot of supplement companies. It's kind of the wild, wild west in terms of regulation and things like that. So, I hope from this half an hour you guys got a little bit more confidence, and I know you already have a lot of confidence in the product, but understanding of our athletes and getting excited about some of the things. Follow us on Herbalife24. You're going to start seeing a lot of the work that we're doing with these football players on social media, stuff like that, and really kind of connect with us so we can help build this company stronger and better, and understand exactly what it is that you guys want. So thank you for your time. It was an honor to be here, and enjoy the rest of your day.